If you did go back to Afghanistan, what would happen?
I can imagine that I will be tortured by Taliban or imprisoned by Taliban.
Mumtaz Bahir is an Afghan native and journalist. He spent several years of his life aiding the United States military during its war in his homeland. Today, he lives in Newport News with his wife and 5 children.
I cannot go back to Afghanistan.
Mumtaz is able to speak with us more safely due to his special immigrant visa status, but says hundreds of Afghan evacuees living right here in coastal Virginia may soon be left with an impossible decision.
Do they stay and live in the United States undocumented, or do they go back to Afghanistan? And that is a terrifying and very difficult choice for people to have to make.
Nicole Medved is an attorney fellow with the William & Mary Law School Immigration Clinic.
We are helping people who are survivors of crime, violence, and torture.
Following the fall of Kabul in August of 2021, thousands of Afghans, most of which have supported the U.S. military in some capacity, were evacuated from their home country. Hundreds landed here in Hampton Roads.
These are people who stood with members of our military in 20 years of very, very difficult times in Afghanistan. The reason that Afghans are able to be here right now is they are on a temporary status called humanitarian parole.
But that humanitarian parole is set to expire in August. Families can reapply, but the process is grueling and expensive, and there's no guarantee they'll get approved.
I know most of them are not able to pay for a lawyer.
And it also doesn't provide any pathway to permanent residency. But there is a bill sitting in Congress right now that does. The Afghan Adjustment Act was introduced to the U.S. Senate last August and has since been tabled. A passing of the act would provide a clear pathway for our Afghan neighbors to obtain permanent residency and eventually citizenship.
They are here because they could be harmed by the Taliban, killed by the Taliban. We can fulfill our promise to all of the people who stood with us, who risked their lives to stand with us for so many years through getting out of this temporary cycle of humanitarian parole and passing the Afghan Adjustment Act.
Passage of the act would allow people like Mumtaz to continue contributing to our economy. Right now, he and many others perform manual labor to independently support their families. That includes Mumtaz's 4 daughters who wouldn't be able to attend school if they were sent back home.
If I go back to Afghanistan, it means that I will destroy my daughter's future. I love United States. I like to stay here. Permanent residency will help all Afghans to have a good life here in the United States. We should live a life, not survive.